So lab 1 is here, right? And then I did put up an example drawing. So this is not this drawing. This is just an example of kind of what I'm looking for. But let's talk about this one. So it says using the attached object X. So if I click on this, you'll see that there is a object X, this thing. That's what you're going to make a drawing of. All right. There's no dimensions given, but there's these grids. And if you've had me before, you kind of will understand the grid thing. The grid is 2 inches by 2 inches. So each little square is 2 inches by 2 inches. That's how you know the size of the object, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 along this side. So 4 times 2, it's 8 inches wide, right? So that's how I can give you an object, but not give you any dimensions, because I want you to dimension it. I don't want you just to reproduce the dimensions on the drawing. So that's how you tell the size of it. If you're unsure, just make an estimate. Like if you're not really sure how tall it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes tall, 5 times 2, it's 10 units tall. Does that make sense? All right. So you can position things, you can get all the information you need. You should be able to on this object that you're going to draw. All right, so that's the 2 by 2 thing. It says create a front, top, and side view. So the front is going to be this surface here, the most descriptive surface, and the arrow refers to the front. So that sets up the front view, and then the right side view is the right side view, and the top view is the top view. All right, so we did cover all that in GE115. I want you to fully dimension it kind of as you think you should. And I'll go over some basic dimensioning rules that I don't want you to forget. But we're not going to go deep into dimension. But it does say fully dimension it with 1/8 inch text. That's super important. So we want to make sure that we all have control over text in the drawing, right? And I will cover that. I'll go over that here shortly. I want layout to be 8.5 by 11. So all this information is just stuff for you to set the drawing up and for me to kind of know whether like AutoCAD is there or not there, you know, from your first class. It says include a title block. It can be a title block of your choosing with name, date, scale, etc. And again, we want 1/8 inch text and we want you to set that up. So it's not a test, it's just a lab. This lab example, if you click on it, it kind of shows you what I'm looking for, right? Here's the front view, here's the right side view, and here's the top view. So it even looks like the same part. I think it's different size, so be careful with that. Oh no, it looks like the right size too, 8 by 10. So yeah, this is a good example for you to look at. Title block down here, this is what I'm thinking, right? And then dimensioning. So remember, you cannot dimension to hidden lines. These are hidden lines. So that's one of the big rules. And then we want the dimensions off of the object. So notice all the dimensions are off of the object. So they can, like, leaders can extend and point to things, that's fine. Extension lines can go to things, that's fine. But we want the dimension itself off the object. And we want the precision to be 2 places like this, right? Not 4 decimal places. Ooh, excuse me. I'm allergic to AutoCAD. All right, so this is a good example. You can make your dimensions like this if you want. If you want to switch something up, you can. But this is what I'm looking for. It's 1/8 inch text on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So that's kind of the gist of what we learned in GE115. Like pretty much, I mean, there's a few other things, but if you could develop that out of GE115, we were happy. Okay. Questions? There's a scale here. We should have a scale in. So 1 to 1 would be if the thing fits on the piece of paper. 1 to 5 is a 5-time reduction. Right? The views are in projection. In other words, the front view gets placed, the top view, the left edge lines up with the left edge, the right edge lines up with the right edge. That's called projection. So that's what we want. Front view, same with the right side, it's in projection. Okay? Piece of cake? Some of you haven't had AutoCAD in a while, so might not be a piece of cake. All right, so let's talk about AutoCAD. I'm going to kind of start in the beginning and go through a few things and make sure that you know how to get dimensions in and understand scaling, just kind of a reminder thing. So I am recording this. If this is all new to you, you could go back over the recording like at home or in here. You can listen to recordings in here, but you just have to have headphones because we don't want to listen to your recording. We just want you to listen to your recording. Right, Timothy? That's true, he says. That's a good answer. All right, so drawing areas here. I'm going to give myself just a basic object, right? Just some kind of a square object. I'll make it 25 units. I won't make it square. I'll make it rectangular. On that by 20. Right, and then I'll just make a basic square. All right, so we draw everything 1-to-1, right? Always 1-to-1, no scaling involved. Whatever the size is, we're going to put it in AutoCAD. If we have a hidden line, we have to be able to set that up. So I'm just going to draw a line in from some location, and I want to make that hidden. Okay. Couple different ways to do it. What I do is I literally draw it first and then I turn it into a hidden line. So those line types are up here. And it's not loaded. So remember, line types are not loaded when you're running AutoCAD. You have to load them. So that's what the other thing is. So load right there. Go down to the first set is metric. ISOs. The second set is US, so those work a little better. Alphabetical, so I'm just looking for hidden lines right here. You can see I've hidden 2, which is half size hidden. And then I have hidden times 2, which is double size hidden. Those can help. Like if you have a big drawing, use the bigger 2 times. If you have a little drawing, then use the 0.5x. If you're just kind of an average drawing or don't really care, just use regular hidden. Because we can adjust those after we get it set. So now that it's loaded, I can grip it. Remember grips? If I choose it, I'm not in a command, I get grips. If you're in a command, the grips won't show up. So not in a command, you get grips. Now I should be able to go up and use my hidden. Whoops, keep doing the line type. Hidden. And it shows up, right? It might be yucky, really small. I don't like that. It's way too small. So it's kind of a personal preference, but once you get it, you can control properties over here. Here I see it's hidden, and here's the line type scale. So I can change that. I can say, oh, make it bigger. I'll go 2 times. Still ugly, in my opinion. I'll go 4 times. Still ugly, in my opinion. I'll go 8 times. That might be too big, but I'm gonna leave it. Right, so you can tweak that and make that work. If you have other hidden lines, they should all be the same. Whatever you make them all the same. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go to layout and check it. So in layout, it can look really crappy. So this is layout, right? This is model. This is layout here. First thing I'm going to do is get this viewport out bigger because it's kind of confusing. I don't know why AutoCAD doesn't maximize viewports, but it does not. And then the second thing I'm going to do is go into here and figure out a scale factor. So scale factors here, as long as you're in model space, which I am. I'm just gonna look at 1 to 1, that doesn't work. I'm gonna look at 1 to 5, that works. So notice the difference between the hidden line, right? Looks terrible here, looks good here. That's AutoCAD. That's just the way it is. It's not fun. So this is not where you want to size your line type scale. You want to size your line type scale here because this is what you're going to print, right? This will be the view that you get. So I'm going to switch it back. I'm pretty sure it's going to want to go back to 1. So I'll try that. Yeah. So adjust it here because what you print here is what the customer is going to get. I'm your customer. I don't want what I had before. That means it could look pretty crappy here, but I don't care what it looks like here. We're not printing this. We're going to print from layout. Make sense? All right. So remember that once you get your drawing done, you want to get it done here first. So if there's multiple views, you want multiple views done before you figure out scale factor and before you do dimensioning. You don't want to dimension before you know the scale. Okay, so get your drawing finished. Before dimensioning, go to layout, set your scale factor. I have it set 1 to 5, and I like it. There's only 1 view, but if you had 3 views, you'd want all views done, and you'd probably have to be back, you know, to something like 1 to, I don't know, 1 to 10 maybe. Yeah, there was 3 views, it might need to be 1 to 10, right? To fit. All right, once you know your scale, then you can dimension. So here's dimensioning. We want to use not standard dimensioning. What kind of dimensioning do we want to use? Annotative. Annotative means it's going to look at this scale factor. And we want this scale factor to match layout scale factor. Layout scale factor 1 to 10. Model scale factor 1 to 10. They match. It's going to do sizing for me. I don't have to think about like, oh, I'm going to reduce this 10 times and how big do I need to make my text? And I don't have to think about anything like that. All I have to do is set in dimension style everything up that I want. So modify. I don't want 4 places. I want, where would that be? I want, where's my text? Why am I not? Oh, units. There we go. 2 places, right? So it looks like 2 places. That's good. And then in text, I want my text height to be whatever the customer wants, and I'm the customer, and I want 1/8 of an inch, 0.125, right? Those are the primary things you have to set. Your precision and the text type. Then you set it to exactly what you want, and then AutoCAD will do the whole scaling thing for you. So I'm going to say, okay, close, then I'm going to put a piece of dimensioning down. Right? And I get that. And I should be able to go here and see it here. And here it should be 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So it's doing that for me. It's figuring it out because this is not 1/8. It's putting it in 10 times bigger than 1/8 because this is reducing it 10 times to get it into layout. But it's doing that for me. I don't have to figure that out. I do have to figure out the scale before I dimension. Okay. Model space. Yep. Dimension it here because that keeps it associated with the model. If you do it in layout in paper space, then your dimensions are in paper and your model's in model, and it looks good, but as soon as something gets moved, it's like way messed up. So it's just bad. It works, but it's bad practice. And it's not adjustable. Like this, I could actually move this over, like make some kind of adjustment, and the dimension is tagged to it. So it's going to make those changes with it. Model and paper can't do that. So it's definitely better to put it in model space. Text is the same way. With text, we want to use annotative. So here's text style. We want that set to annotative. And in text style, we want to set our paper text type to 0.125. Now, you can leave, this is AutoCAD shenanigans. You can leave it 0. And then when you put text in, it'll ask you, what size do you want the text? So that's kind of nice because some text is bigger than other text in a drawing, like drawing view names are often bigger than dimension text. So I leave it 0. And you can play with the fonts if you want. And then let's see if I got that saved. I did. So now when I place text, and I'm a single line text kind of guy, I'll put in. So first point is you're going to place it. That's where the text is going. Now look at what it's asking me. Specify the paper text height. So it's asking, like, how big do you want it? I'll say 0.125. And then it wants to know rotation. That's if you want your text at some weird angle. I just hit 0. And then this is 1/8 inch text. Now, it's not placing it at 1/8. It's placing it at 10 times bigger than 1/8 because it's going to be 1/8 here. That make sense? Just ring a bell a little bit. Because this is the part that we need control over before we head off into more advanced stuff. I want to make sure we got this. Okay. That's pretty much it. You have a title block to build. That should be in paper space. This is paper space. So when I draw lines in here in paper space, remember it doesn't, it's just on this piece of paper on top. It doesn't affect the model at all. So there's paper space and there's model space. If I drew now, it would affect it. So you jump back and forth. So I'll erase this. But that's where your title block is going to go, right? In paper space. All right, that's kind of a quick, super quick review. Like we took 10 weeks to cover that stuff last term. So if that was completely new to you, we have some work to do. If it was a little rough, we have some work to do, but that's all right. Now's the time to practice with it. I'm going to have you do this exercise today and have it done by Wednesday. Let's look at the stats again on it. Monday, that's today. What else do we have here? That's it, I think. Oh, when you save it, put your last name in the file name. So if you had me last term, you know how to do this already, but here's an example. When you save it, use your last name. If your last name's really long, you can shorten your last name. That's cool. And then maybe the name of the lab. This is lab 1. And I want 2 versions when you submit it. So you'll submit these to the submission area. Right here, lab 1. I want the drawing file and a PDF. Okay. And the PDF you want to create from layout. So I'm here in layout. This is where I want to make the PDF. So that's pretty easy to do. You just can export to PDF, right? So that's up here at the red A, export PDF. And it's going to give you, it's like a save window, save as PDF. You know, save it to the desktop, whatever, give it the appropriate name. And it's going to create a PDF from what it sees in layout. So make sure your scale's right. You haven't zoomed anything all crazy like. And your title block's done and everything is good. Then you should be able to just say, I'm going to change the name. So freak out if you leave that. So it does it, flashes a bunch of times, but you never see it. So it's good to check. I think I did it to the desktop. Didn't I? Maybe, no. Where did I do it to? Export, PDF, desktop. It's probably there. Just have a messy desktop. I think I called it example, right? There it is. There it is. It's just exactly what you see in layout. Okay. So I want the PDF and the drawing file when you upload. Questions? Quiet in here. Y'all got this, you think? Yeah, well,
So making
if you have a template from a last class, you can use it. Absolutely. Yep. So that's pretty much what this is from the last class, right? Title block looks something like that. If you have a custom one, that's fine. I don't care. As long as there's a title block associated. Name the views, right? Top view, front view, right side view. Please have that on there. Get your hidden lines looking beautiful. Get some dimensioning on. We don't have to do line weight yet. We'll start playing with line weight probably on Wednesday. Okay. If you need help, I'm here for the next 2 hours. So there you go. That's it. We are in lab. That's how this class will flow. Short conversation, that's just lab and working with AutoCAD, practicing. That's it.